Hello, 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 it is I, Ilamore, coming at you with a final Settlers 2 10th anniversary video. This is the tips and tricks edition, and maybe, you know, if people come up with some additional tips and tricks, then we can do another one, but this is the last one that I'm planning. So follow along as we go through the top 10 tips and tricks that I've picked up along the 60 plus videos that we've done on this series. And if you've watched 10 or more of those videos, go ahead, put in a comment, 10 or more, hashtag. I want to see how many of you have followed through this series. Alright, the first trick is to designate one storehouse in your economy to be your recruitment and promotion center. And this is because of the way that soldiers work. So when you are recruiting a soldier, you always have people because you've always got enough hands, but you need a sword, a shield, and a keg of beer. So designate one storehouse, preferably close to your mint, your brewery, and your smithy, to be the one storehouse that takes all of those. Set all of your other buildings, including your headquarters, to get rid of those, and including your coins. We'll come to that later. So that these resources aren't wasted in these storehouses, and just have one, so that as soon as they're ready, your soldiers can be recruited. As you can see, we've got lots of soldiers here. And that leads us to tip number 2, which is to have a watchtower or a stronghold close by your designated storehouse, so that you can quickly promote soldiers and generals in this watchtower. The way that this works is when a coin comes into the watchtower, any soldier who is ready to be promoted can be promoted. So what we've got is a private, a corporal, and a sergeant, and they're all going to be promoted using this coin. So there we have corporal, sergeant, and officer now. And the next coin that comes in is going to promote 4 of them. One soldier from every grade gets upgraded. So we see the coin going in, and pretty soon we'll have 2 privates, 1 corporal, 1 sergeant, 1 officer, and 1 general. And there we have it. So we can use this to quickly churn through our soldiers and create generals. So this is tip number 2, use a watchtower or a stronghold to create an army of generals. And you do this, first of all, you have to look at your military. You have to make sure that your weaker soldiers are going to defend first. Send out the weaker ones first. Then you come in, you make sure that you've got 1 of each class, including a general, and you evacuate. You just toggle this on and off, get rid of the general. He's going to go back to the storehouse and be replaced by a private. So now the next coin that comes in is going to promote 4 soldiers again. This way you get 4 promotions per coin, which is so much better than 1 promotion per coin. You can quickly get a whole army of generals. Now what this can do is mean that all of your generals get stored in 1 storehouse. And that's not good because it's likely to be a central storehouse. So tip number 3 is keep all your soldiers in 1 storehouse apart from the generals. Make sure your generals go out to the storehouses that are on the borders of your territory, so that you can quickly reinforce, or if you need to occupy a new building, you can do so quickly before the enemy takes that land from you. Tip number 4 is about the flags. Pay attention to the flags. You've got 2 flagpoles outside of every military building, and these tell you something. So a white flag tells you that the military building is far away from the enemy, or far away from an enemy border. It means that that building cannot be attacked. If there's a black stripe across the flag, that means that you're medium distance away from the enemy, and soldiers from a watchtower or a guardhouse or a stronghold will be able to attack that building. That's why in my military settings I always have long distance away as empty, and I'll set that in a moment to show you something else, but I always have the medium and the close set to full because I need those to be defended. If there's a black cross on the flag, it means you're close to an enemy stronghold, and any enemy building will be able to attack you, as long as it's the one that's close to the border. The other flagpole is the coloured flags, and these change. 1 flag means that there's 1 soldier in there. 2 flags means that there's 2 soldiers in there. 3 flags mean that there are 3. 3 flags and a shield mean that there are 4 soldiers in there, and 3 flags and 2 shields mean that there are 5 or more soldiers in there. You actually don't get any more information after the 5. The one exception to that is your headquarters, which will always have the 3 flags and the 2 shields, no matter how many soldiers are in. In fact, I've got no soldiers in this headquarters right now, but the flags do not change. Storehouses might also have soldiers, of course, but they don't have flags. You won't be able to see any information about the soldiers from the flag. Why is this useful? It's useful because the enemy shows you this information as well, so you can see if there's an enemy building, military building, that's ripe for attack, one that's weak. If there are no flags, of course, there's no one there, you can take it without a fight. So let's set our military to the way I would normally have it, and remove all the soldiers from the long. And so 1 has left, there's 5 now there's 4, and you'll see the flags disappear as the soldiers leave our watchtower. The next tip is to save space by destroying military buildings, and you need to be a little bit careful with this one, because you need to know the ranges of the buildings, the military buildings, and make sure that there's overlapping territory. But if you've built 3 buildings in a row, military buildings, to take ground, often the middle one is no longer needed. And you can see this watchtower is actually encroaching on our farm. It's meaning that our farm is less efficient than it could be. So if I destroy this building, you see that we don't lose anything, because this watchtower and this barracks here actually have enough range to keep this territory, and so we then save that space. That space can now be used for an additional field, and we can boost our farming. If you're interested in the ranges of the various military buildings, you can check the wiki on fandom, or you can look at my video on the military, which shows you all of the ranges and the resources needed to build those buildings. Speaking of destroying buildings, you'll notice that when I destroyed that watchtower, I actually destroyed the tower itself, not the flag that it was attached to. There are 2 ways to destroy buildings. One is to destroy the building, the other is to destroy the flag, which also has the effect of destroying the building. Let's look at the difference between those. I'm going to destroy these coal mines because I think they're out of resources. So we destroy this one, and you see we get some resources back from that. So we've got 2 planks back. This is the preferred method, because if you destroy the flag, which we'll do as soon as that plank has been delivered, it destroys the flag, it destroys the building, and you don't get any resources back. So that's obviously a much worse situation, worse for your economy. The preferred method of destroying buildings is to destroy the building itself and leave the flag until you've got the resources back. Tip number 7 is about the number 7. 7 is a really important number in Settlers. You can see our fishermen here who are fishing well, and they're going to all these various spots. But it's important to note that each spot of water contains 7 fish, and that's how many fish that each fisherman can get from a spot of water, or all the fishermen together, I should say. It's the same with ore. This iron mine can get 7 ore from each of the spots around it, with a range of three journeys away. 7's really important. However, you can overcome the number 7 for the fish at least, because if your fisherman leaves, he's always going to catch a fish. So whatever spot he chooses, he's going to catch a fish from there. If fish are really limited, you can build a lot of fishermen, and if they all leave at the same time and go to a similar spot, they will all catch a fish. In this way you can maximize the resources. I have taken that to the logical extreme in my video on the world record for how many fish to get from a single spot, and between you and me it's over 80. Is there an actual application for this in the game? I'm not sure, but it is interesting to experiment, and maybe there are other ways to maximize the resources that I haven't found yet. You know what, I made a mistake destroying that coal mine. I think I would like to get that coal mine back, and so we'll recommission the building. Once a building is under construction, you can track the building progress. So right now it's 0%. Once this guy gets here and starts getting some resources, you'll see the percentage start to increase, and you can see how quickly that's going to get built. You can also see if there's any required goods that are missing. So you'll see that'll go down to ×1 once that plank goes in. And this way you can see if there's any hold-ups with your buildings. Very important if you're trying to build quickly, so that you can defeat your enemies or get in there first. Once the icon disappears, it means that this guy has all of the resources that he's going to need to build this building, and so progress should continue at a relatively stable rate. Tip number 9 is about building. There are different ways to build, and most players at the beginning of their build just start building long roads, kind of like I've done down here, just trying to connect buildings in whatever way, shape or form you like. It's not such a good way to build. The best way to build generally is this grid pattern, where you have buildings in a row separated just by a single 2-lane journey, and then your rows offset so that you can build roads in between. This grid system allows the algorithm, the transportation algorithm, to figure out the best way of getting resources around. It minimizes traffic jams. Where doesn't it work? It doesn't work when you've got big buildings like your headquarters or your farm, which need extra space, but you can just build around those. As much as possible, taking into account the terrain that you've got, it's best to have this grid system. That's tip number 9. So we come to our final tip. And this tip is about building faster. Oftentimes, especially on smaller maps, you need to build as quickly as possible and expand as quickly as possible in order to take the land away from your enemies. You can do this in different ways, of course, by being more efficient, but there's a trick that speedrunners use that I want to share with you. First of all, we have to click on our headquarters here, and we need to make sure that planks are not going to come back into our headquarters. We're then going to click on a barracks, which is obviously how we're going to expand, and we'll put that round there. Make sure our roads are connected by 2 journeys each to make them more efficient. And we're going to wait for this guy to arrive at the barracks and start building and start getting some planks out. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to, a little ways away, build a lookout tower, which requires 4 planks. We're going to build a long road, which we won't connect up just yet, and that's in preparation. Now this guy has ordered 2 planks and they're on their way, so once that's done we can connect up this road, and we're going to get a builder. I'm going to actually ease his journey so that he can come over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to get the planks preferably to this point, so that when we've got the ground, the expanded territory, we can start to build there. So what I've done there is I've forced the planks to go the long way round, and preferably the planks for this lookout tower are going to end up right here. What they're not going to do is go back to the headquarters, because as you remember, we've blocked planks from the headquarters. So this guy has ordered the planks, and they are on their way. And this is a ghost build because we're never actually going to build this, we're just going to commission it. So here we go, these planks are coming on the way, and we just want to get them to right around here, and at that point we're going to destroy this road. Okay, so these planks are all kind of on the way. They're much further away than they would have been from the headquarters. This guy isn't ever going to get his planks. We could destroy that building, or we can use them again for the same purpose later. These barracks are under construction. Now as soon as the soldier enters the barracks, we're going to be able to build a new barracks down here. So let's do that, and we'll build it right here and set up our road. And now this guy is going to come start building that barracks. These guys are going to come and man these roads, and as they do that, you see the planks are already moving towards the barracks that's under construction. So we've managed to kind of make up a bit of ground. Now we can again use this same lookout tower to repeat the process. We don't need the lookout tower to be close, we just need a midway point. And you can see we've got wood coming again, and these 2 planks are already reserved for this guy, so they're going to make their way here much quicker than they would have done. So he's able to start building about a minute earlier than he would have been able to previously. And these planks again are on their way, and once they are on their way to the flag, we'll just destroy this road, and again we've got ourselves a supply chain. Like I said, speedrunners use this to make their runs faster, to get further more quickly, and so you can use this to get ahead of the competition. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel, who have liked the videos, who have commented, who have put in extra tips and tricks. If you have any extra tips that you'd like to put in, you can either put them in the comments of this video for people to see, or you can go over to the fandom site, and I've created a special tips and tricks page where you can write yours in. I've got these 10 to start with. Feel free to just add to that document, and we can create a big list of tips and tricks. Have a lovely day. Enjoy Settlers to the 10th anniversary, one of the greatest games ever created. And I'll see you in our next series, whatever that might be. Bye bye.